Hey Andre, we've got some breaking news to share with all of you Land Cruiser fans. What is it?
Yes, well, it's another teaser.
No, this is more than a teaser.
Well, it's pretty clear what it is.
So Toyota recently released this photo, and let's talk about it.
Yes, so this appears to be a FJ40 old school original Land Cruiser.
Yeah, and let's take a step back. Now, recently Toyota on their Instagram page sort of kind of confirmed that the Land Cruiser is coming back to the States.
So we did a video about this already. Yeah. They showed several logos, traditional Land Cruiser script, and they said the legend is coming back.
Now, they released this, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to kind of dive deep into this. Before we do that, let's kind of give you the history of what's been happening with Toyota and the Land Cruiser. Now, the last series Land Cruiser that was for sale in America was the 200 series.
Yep.
And we bid farewell, adieu to that with a special edition.
Yeah, that was like 2021 model year.
Yes.
So this was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
And then they came out with a new Land Cruiser 300, but not for the U.S. No Land Cruiser for you.
It's on sale in other markets like Australia, Asia, Middle East.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah, but here.
Except here.
Except here. And so we were trying to kind of figure out whether the Foreigner was going to slot in there or whether maybe it was going to be the new, and here's what we're going to be talking about, the new GX, because recently I was at the unveiling of the new Lexus GX, and the cool thing, if you put these two pictures side by side, is you'll see an incredible resemblance even of the profile.
Let me shrink this guy.
Yeah, shrink this down, and we'll
a little bit.
We'll replace the FJ with the GX, and then we'll give you a better idea of what we're talking about. So as you can tell, we've meticulously planned this.
My graphic skills are incredible, Roman. So
you're almost there. There you go. You're sort of kind of close. So this is the new GX.
Yes.
And actually, it's not just the new GX, but it's the new GX Overtrail, which surprised us. So the Overtrail is basically the most dirt-worthy version of the new GX. It's rolling on 33s, Andre.
Yes.
It has, get this, a rear locker. And when you look at it next to the image they released, they are remarkably similar.
Yes, so you can kind of see the sloping hood, large windows, a little kind of horizontal appearing, tail light. I don't know if it's LED or otherwise, and even the exhaust pipe, look at this. The exhaust pipe is very similar on both.
Yeah, so we could, I think, fairly deduce that the GX, which was introduced like a month ago, will be the Lexus version of the new Land Cruiser.
For the US.
That we see here. So now there's some things we have to talk about, and these are important. First and foremost, this version of the GX is called the Overtrail, Andre.
Sure.
And it has something unique. Not only does it have 33s, not only does it tow 8,000, not only does it have a rear locker, but it doesn't have a rear third row.
So it's a 5-seater.
It's a 5-seater. Okay. But, as you know, one of the defining features of every generation of Land Cruiser is those folding seats that come from the side, and they're not a third row. They're kind of these funky side.
Because this guy had them.
This guy had them, yeah.
Yeah, actually we owned the original FJ40.
We did own it for a while, yeah.
And we also had a 200 series.
Yeah, we had a 74. And we had a 200 series that we turned into a TRD Pro.
Yes, or TFL Pro.
Yeah, TFL Pro, exactly. So what I'm thinking is maybe what they did here is you could take those side seats, right, the side-mounted seats, and put them in the Land Cruiser. Tommy thinks they're not going to have them. I think it's such an iconic part of the vehicle that they have to have them. Now, the second thing that we need to talk about is what's under the hood. So under the hood of this, Andre, is what?
Is a Tundra engine, basically.
Exactly.
So, which is also under the hood of the 300 series Land Cruiser that's available overseas, which means it's a 3.4 liter technically, that's the displacement, twin turbocharged. And in the Lexus version, what is it, 380-ish horsepower,
exactly, if I remember
and
right.
479 pound-feet of torque. So it's quite torquey, really powerful, and it's powering the GX.
Yeah, and so the question is, will this have the same engine, or, and here's a wild card, will they take the new 4-cylinder turbo out of the Tacoma and put it in the Toyota and keep the Lexus separate by giving it a V6?
Yeah, this is a tough question because traditionally the Lexus used to have the V8, right? The GX was known for having the V8, and the Land Cruiser, well, also had a V8.
Yes, it had a big. It had that. What was it? The 4.57.
5.7. The big boy.
The one that was like indestructible.
Yes, and the 4.7 before it. But so here's my bet.
Okay.
I'm betting the new Land Cruiser that's coming to the U.S. is going to have the same Tundra engine, the twin turbo V6, because it's kind of a larger vehicle and it's based on the same chassis as the GX, which they all share the same platform, right? It's the frame-based platform with a multi-link rear suspension, independent front, and I'm betting, Roman, this is me, that the next 4Runner that's going to come out a year from now will have the 4-cylinder.
So you're saying that the
bet.
way they're going to differentiate the Land Cruiser from the 4Runner is that the 4Runner will share the powertrain that's in
The Tacoma.
which is either a naturally aspirated or turbocharged or hybridized.
Or hybridized, yes.
Yes.
Four-banger.
Four-banger. Whereas the Land Cruiser is going to share the powertrain from the Tundra, which is also in the LX, and that's one way you differentiate it.
Yes. But is there enough differentiation, right? You could ask that. Traditionally, because there was always, the LX, the bigger one, LX and the Land Cruiser, traditionally, they had basically the same structures, they just had different badges, right, for the longest time. Do you think there's enough differentiation between the two brands to sell both?
Yeah, I think so. And I believe that Toyota has also said that this is going to have a lot of cues
from the past?
From the past, stylistic cues from the past. So it's going to be more...
It's hard to say in this teaser.
It's going to be more retro, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have that classic Toyota script, right? The big Toyota script.
What about round headlamps?
Round headlamps, that would be another way. I mean, this is obviously not round. They're, they're much more linear.
Squinty.
Well, yeah, linear. The other thing that we need to discuss, which is important, is since the Land Cruiser went away, and even before then, this segment has gotten red hot, right? So for a while, if you wanted something that you could go around the world in, you'd probably have two choices: Land Cruiser, Defender.
Yep.
Right? I mean, the Wrangler is kind of its own thing, so it does sort of kind of compete. But now we've got, because the Land Rover Defender went away from kind of that hard-edged off-roader, which I know all you Defender guys maybe don't think that, but it did, right? The old...
Well, it got independent suspension.
Yeah, the old Defender was basically a tractor, right? It hadn't changed for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was a hardcore off-roader, but the new Defender is much more civilized and a little bit less off-road worthy. But there's a new player in town, and that is, of course, the Ineos Grenadier.
Yes, which is trying to take that traditional Defender image, right, and character and bring it forward.
And the reason I bring the Ineos up is because we know pricing on that. We don't know pricing on these two, but we know pricing on the Defender and we know pricing on the Ineos. So it's going to have to live in that same world because it's competing in that world.
Yeah.
So the Ineos starts at $79,000,
Which is a high,
which is a big
pretty
number.
high price.
But I'm betting this is going to start at 79-ish.
Are you talking about Overtrail or are you talking about the base GX?
I'm talking about the Overtrail, which is, so I think the Overtrail will be at
it 80. Could be. It could be that high. But once again, you don't want to step on the LX. LX, what is it? I can look it up. I think it's closer to 100K.
Don't worry about the LX. I think you're right. But then the question becomes, where does the Land Cruiser live? So right now, obviously, you have 4Runner, right? And then
starts at about
45,000, yeah.
Then Sequoia starts at about 60, but really a lot of Sequoias are within 70 to 80 grand.
And then the Land Cruiser has always lived at the top end of Toyota's off-road spectrum.
Yes.
So that would mean 80,000 as well.
What if the Sequoia is a larger vehicle? By the way, they have the magic number, the wheelbase. They kept on the GX, they kept the same wheelbase as a traditional Land Cruiser 80, 100, and 200 series trucks. So, and the Sequoia is actually larger. It has a longer wheelbase. It's a bigger vehicle. So what if the Land Cruiser slots in below the Sequoia? Do you think that's possible?
No. I think the Land Cruiser...
Do you think the Land Cruiser will still be the top?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the 200 series, those were 80,000 easy, Andre.
Well, they were like 90K.
And then when you got the Heritage Edition, I think those were over 100, if I remember right. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they were like 95-ish, but with options you could probably get there.
Yeah, so I don't see them being... But I could be wrong. Maybe, I mean, there's been so much inflation. Maybe Toyota has, figured out that the value of the Land Cruiser name is such that they don't need to stretch and go super expensive, which would be great. I'd be a big fan of that.
Well, it would be accessible to more people.
Yeah.
But I think they have to be careful, right? Because they have a lot going on. They have the 4Runner.
Yes.
They have this coming. They have the Sequoia.
And the RAV4.
And the RAV4. Yes. So how do you dice?
They have the GX. They have the LX.
So how do you dice those?
So you don't cannibalize your sales. But hey, anyway, guys, let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Will it have the 4-cylinder turbo out of the Tacoma, or will it have the V6?
And what the pricing will be.
Yeah.
Let us know your guesses.
Yeah, but I'm excited, dude. I think, we're getting close, because Toyota likes to roll these out like every week before the
couple of weeks before, right?
The unveiling.
Yeah.
So I think if I were a guessing man, I think this month we're going to be, finally getting the scoop on what the Land Cruiser is.
And we'll see it for real, right?
Yeah,
we'll see it.
Yeah, and you'll see it here. We're going to be on top of this. We love to keep you guys in the know.
How can we miss this?
And we make a promise. You saw it first, in this case, on the Fast Lane Off-Road, TFL Off-Road, and we're going to hold us to that promise and make sure that when the new one comes out, you'll be the first to see it. And of course, the best place to find that is where, Andre?
alltfl.com.
See you guys next time. Ciao.